Topping today's news, the mother of the boy that drowned at the golf course appears in court today. Details of the latest murder, while 2 murder suspects also appear in court today. The Bahamas Union of Teachers looking to complete its industrial agreement with the government before school begins. And Devin Charlton wins silver at the Commonwealth Games. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Dorino Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News. Thanks for joining us. In court news, 41-year-old Stephanie Hanna of Exuma Street, Coconut Grove, was arraigned in the magistrate's court this morning on 2 counts of child cruelty. This in connection with the alleged drowning of 11-year-old Gerardo Atwell Taylor, whose body was found partially submerged in a pond on the golf course at the Queen Elizabeth Sports Center last Tuesday. Hanna pleaded not guilty to the charges and was granted bail in the amount of $7,000. She will return to court on November 14th. Police are aggressively searching for the male occupants of a black hatchback vehicle believed to be responsible for the country's latest homicide. The incident reportedly occurred around 2 p.m. on Saturday outside a residence in Rock Crusher. Preliminary reports reveal that a group of men were seated outside a residence on Maxwell Street when a black hatchback vehicle pulled up. It is reported the occupants fired gunshots in the direction of the men, which resulted in a 21-year-old of Palima Street being shot multiple times. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police confirmed that the victim was being monitored via an electronic monitoring device. Police are actively investigating and are appealing to members of the public who may have any information that can assist with their investigations to contact the police at 911-919 or contact the Criminal Investigation Department at 502-9991 or 502-9992 or Crime Stoppers at Crime Stoppers 328-TIPS 328-8477. Back in court today, 19-year-old Wood Carl Pastor of Cottonwood Street, Pinewood Gardens, appeared before the magistrate this morning charged with the murder of 19-year-old Keithan Johnson, which occurred on Peter Street July 21st, where the victim was at his home. Pasteur was also charged in a separate matter or separate matters with 3 counts of armed robbery, 1 count of possession of an unlicensed firearm, and 1 count of possession of ammunition. He was not required to enter a plea for any of the charges and was remanded to prison until November 8th. Meanwhile, 23-year-old Marcian Knowles of Tyler Street was arraigned in the magistrate's court in connection with the shooting death of 32-year-old Ramon Hyler, which occurred on July 4th on Quarry Mission Road. Knowles was not required to enter a plea and is scheduled to return to court on October 24th, where he will be served with a voluntary bill of indictment. Meanwhile, as the murder continues to rise in the country, the President of the Senate, Lachelle Adderley, Vice President Barry Griffin, Senator Maxine Seymour, and Senator Rodney Duncombe last week presented the Director of Families of All Murder Victims, FOAM, Ms. Candy Gibson, with a donation towards the organization's Back to School initiative in preparation for the upcoming school year. As part of the initiative, FOAM encourages the public to sponsor a child that has lost a parent or both parents to murder. President of the Senate, Lachelle Adderley, says the Senate places a very high priority on community service and the work that FOAM does is selfless and should be appreciated.
October, when we were sworn in, we have been consistently providing community outreach to various communities and NGOs, and today is no different. We believe that service is the rent you pay for your place here on earth. And in so doing, the Senate body has come together in a bipartisan effort. And bipartisan, I mean that we have both PLPs and F&M senators, as well as the chair. And although some of them are not present here today, I want you to know that everyone contributed. Each and every senator contributed to the cause of Ms. Gibson. And we are here today at FOAM, Families of All Murder Victims, because we appreciate the contribution and the effort that you make to do the very best you can to assist others. You're selfless. Your reach is far and wide, and we appreciate it throughout the length and breadth of this Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Director of FOAM, Candy Gibson, who has also recently been listed as one of the national heroes of 2022, cried tears of joy as she says the Back to School initiative has been going on for the past 10 years, and she is glad to see the organization finally get the recognition that it deserves. Additionally, Ms. Gibson is appealing to the Minister of National Security for an opportunity to collaborate with the police as they speak to families of murder victims.
We need to hear from them and they need to hear from us, the community. I feel that there needs to be a forum where people can engage ourselves in a conversation, because at the end of the day, the police need us and we need the police. Also, we have domestic violence on the rise. Every 2 days, my phone rings over the inbox message with some female wants to leave a toxic relationship. At this time, I can't house them because the place I have personally is only a 6-bedroom place. And so therefore, we still asking, we still advocating, we still not want, we still need the crown on, because I believe in God for female shelter. And my passion alone can't do it. The senders here, they pardon me in this event, that alone can't do it. We need funding. We need persons, the partnership, the slogan or the motto is, they believe in vehemence. It's the people's time. So if they say they believe in the people and it's the people's time, and I say about the people, then we should have no problem partnershiping together.
Ms. Gibson says FOAM cannot do this alone, and these initiatives are all in the effort to create a better Bahamas. FOAM is also advocating for Crown Land to build a facility for victims of domestic violence. In the meantime, the police continue working to get guns off the street. Operation Ceasefire saw the police retrieve 2 handguns in 2 separate incidents on Saturday. The first incident occurred when the police executed a search warrant on a residence in Elizabeth Estates. In the process, they found a handgun along with a large quantity of ammunition, resulting in the arrest of 4 men, 2 of them 27 years old, a 25-year-old, and a 21-year-old, who are all assisting police with their investigation. The second incident happened around 9:30 p.m. with a 16-year-old of McQuay Street off Nassau Street arrested for being in possession of a handgun and ammunition. Active police investigations continue there as well. An industrial agreement between the government of the Bahamas and the Bahamas Union of Teachers, the BUT, is very close, according to BUT President Belinda Wilson. Ms. Wilson made the comments in a message to members of the Bahamas Union of Teachers as she gave an update on the negotiations. She says she has been in constant communication with the government's lead negotiator over the past few days.
Both sides have agreed and or withdrawn the 3 non-economic articles that were outstanding, respectively. I await a final agreement on 2 financial matters. We are closer than we have ever been to concluding this full industrial agreement.
BUT President Ms. Wilson reassured that the union's negotiating team is working to ensure that they have the best industrial agreement for all members. She revealed the union will soon meet with the government's lead negotiator for their final meeting.
Lead negotiator and I will continue to work, and our final session is on Thursday, August the 18th, 2022. So our final session with the government's negotiators will be Thursday, August the 18th, 2022. I will hold a general membership meeting by Zoom on August 18th, 2022. That's Thursday, August the 18th, 2022. At 4 p.m.
Ms. Wilson ended her address by encouraging members to continue enjoying their summer break, promising to keep them updated. Meanwhile, the Bahamas Educators, Counselors, and Allied Workers Union, the BECAWU, which represents about 500 teachers, signed off on their industrial agreement with the government last week. And finally, in this segment, the Bahamas Educators Managerial Union, the BEMU, signed an industrial agreement with the government today at the Office of the Prime Minister after 4 years of negotiations. President of the BEMU, Stephen McPhee, expressed gratitude to all officials who, he says, worked in good faith to complete the agreement. Mr. McPhee went on to say that although there are still some outstanding matters that need to be addressed, he believes today's signing brought much-needed relief to union members as it includes insurances and pay increases along with other benefits.
We will now receive the benefits of vision and dental as part of our medical plan. As would have been expressed, there's going to be 5 increases of increments over the next 3 years, which has been, since I have been in education, as well as my Secretary General, who've been just a little longer than me, we have never seen in such a short time such massive increase. Because we're looking at minimum, even our members who are at what we call, quote unquote, their ceiling, over the next 3 years, their monthly salaries will increase by some $300. Those who are not at their ceiling and still entitled to increments will receive up to some near $500 monthly. And so that for us has been a major accomplishment.
Scholarships will also be made available for members of the bargaining unit, along with allowances and retention benefits. Minister of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, Glenys Hannah Martin, spoke about the importance of education and thanks the BEMU for their understanding and cooperation during the deliberation process.
The common core purpose is education, which is the fundamental key to the development of our people. Anywhere you go, in any country will tell you that. It's no different for the Bahamian people. Our children have to be educated. They're the future of this nation. It's not a cliche, it's the reality. Our nation will be as good as they are. I want to thank BEMU for understanding the core purpose and for their work on the front line in the delivery of education in this country. They represent those who facilitate the policies, who administer the educational methodologies or oversee them and ensure that the standard is met. We appreciate them so greatly. And that is why we sought to, I think that there were very few issues that we differed on. There's some practical issues that we might not have been able to accede to for pragmatic reasons, financing, et cetera. But I believe that the president has been very dogged. He has argued for, I think, a pretty good case for his membership.
While unions in the past faced many challenges when it comes to reaching industrial agreements with the government, the Minister of State for Public Service, Pia Glover-Rose, says today's signing is her ministry's commitment to workers that their best interest is a matter of priority.
Grateful to the Labor Relations Unit, who has done great work in the short few months that they have been composed to ensure that we brought every trade union possible back to the table after extenuating periods of not being able to negotiate their industrial agreements. We're able to bring them back to the table and move expeditiously in getting our agreements signed. And of course, this is the second of many to come. We are happy, we're proud that the members, and I always tell our trade union presidents that we work for the same people. Your members are our employees, and we're looking for the best terms and the best opportunities in the workplace for your members and our employees. Today is an example of our continued commitment to ensuring that we do all we can for the workers. And while negotiations may happen and we may agree to disagree, we must ensure that we get to a place swiftly, and that is what we're doing.
We'll take a break here, and we'll be right back after these commercials.